What's up, crypto fam? It's Phantom making another daily video about the market, the news of today for crypto, just hanging out and seeing what's going on in the world of crypto. So I like to start all the videos with the fear and greed index, so we'll do that to start. Looks like today we're at 39, so we've dropped down some, probably because of the pullback that we got from yesterday's gains. It's not a scary pullback. This is healthy. You can't have pumps going on forever. There needs to be some drawback, some cooling off period before continuation to the upside. That said, we're still hanging right around the new support structure that we created. So I'm not nervous about this as of now. It would take a move below this support zone, a decent move below the support zone before I started to get a little bit nervous. Maybe even a breaking of 39K area. So pullbacks are healthy, especially with all the news that's going on in the markets and inflation talks, and the Fed came out today. Like I mentioned in 3 or 4 videos ago, that I thought this would happen, that we would see some green days and then the Fed would come out and ruin the party, and that's exactly what happened. They did only mention that they foresaw interest rates increasing by 0.25, which isn't a drastic move at all. They do need to start rein in some of their inflation costs. They said they have it under control, but they absolutely do not. In the State of the Union, it was mentioned that they were releasing a bunch of reserves of oil, yet oil prices are shooting up. So corporate is still slamming the regular users, which they do. It's unfortunate, but just the way things have been and will continue to be until there's significant change in the space. So yeah, this isn't an area that I'm concerned of until we start dropping below this support structure and maybe below the 39K region. Do I see us pulling back into something that I would consider more bearish? I still think we're making bullish moves to the upside. I think cooling off is healthy. So that said, I'll be watching the news cycles for sure, watching to see what Bitcoin does. There is, we've put in some pretty good pump this week, so for things to calm down and take a break is not bad at all. So kind of want to refill the car with gas before you head for the next portion of the trip. So it's my belief that that's what Bitcoin's doing. I've been wrong before. I may be wrong this time, but I think we have a strong support zone set up here, and I think us pulling back and testing this is actually a healthy move in the market. So I'm hoping that this will act as stronger support and we won't move below it and then start our continuation up in the next few days. The fear and greed coming back down is actually a good thing for me. I would rather be buying when the market's a little bit more fearful than when they're neutral or greedy. So I'm okay with this. I think this is a healthy setup. One thing I did want to bring up to anyone that's watching, I've pointed this out before in past days, and it had worked out, so I thought I'd bring it up again. I was just looking at the charts, and we're only 4 hours into this daily, and we've already surpassed yesterday's volume on Neo. So I think Neo may be putting in some work the end of today, early tomorrow. I'll be watching this closely. This may try to make a move and break out some. This is a lot of volume very early on to a daily opening. For it to already surpass yesterday's 24-hour volume in the first 4 hours, there's some money coming into this. So Neo is something I'll be watching today, maybe to make a quick scalp. Obviously not financial advice, but I figured I'd let my users know. I'll be watching this. This type of volume generally indicates a strong move. Sometimes it's to the downside, sometimes it's to the upside. But with the market in the position that it's in currently, I'm thinking it's going to be a move to the upside. So I'll be watching this closely. I will move back to like a weekly chart. And we'll pull Bitcoin back up. If all else fails, I think this trend line of support will continue to hold. If this breaks, I'll for sure turn a lot more bearish until we get into the 30K support territory. You always want to buy support, sell resistance. So people kind of aping in when we get up here and we have still a huge chunk of resistance to get through. It's a little bit too early to be tossing all your chips. I think it's a much better approach to kind of stagger your way in and monitor the market health as you start investing. So I only found one really interesting news story today, and that was Ukraine confirms an airdrop. They received $30 million worth of crypto donations, which is fantastic. I know CZ and Binance donated a bunch. The creator of Polkadot donated, I think, $5 million worth of DOT. So a lot of people have been stepping up from the crypto community for Ukraine, which is fantastic. And they've raised over $30 million of digital assets for the country. And the country's going to attempt to do an airdrop to its citizens to distribute that wealth across, which is fantastic because obviously they're not going on about their normal lives right now. Their country is being seized by a dictator, emphasis on dict, and they're obviously not working, so no sources of income. And this is really a helping hand that it's really going to help a bunch of people if they can make this airdrop happen. I think it's a really strong sign. So I'll be watching Bitcoin. Bitcoin kind of does this thing where it makes big moves and then kind of calms down for a little bit, takes a breather. It's an old man grandpa Bitcoin. It can only go so hard for so long before it has to sit down, take a rest, then it will start moving again. Hopefully it starts moving in the upward direction and not down. I think it will be to the upside. I think the support will show us that it's going to hold well. And if this support holds well, that's a strong interest. So I'll be watching this closely, watching the situation in Ukraine carefully, and hopefully the Fed is done with their talks about this inflation and their interest rate costs. The markets opened so strong this morning, and then Powell came out and gave his speech, and everything came ripping down. It's almost like it's getting ultra predictable. I streamed about it 5-6 days ago, saying that we're probably going to start getting a lot of upside movement, and then they'll come in and ruin the party, and sure enough. So I'm hoping things calm down overnight and people put their money back into investments again. I hope the S&P continues its previous move to recovering. Bitcoin continues its momentum upward. I hope Peter Schiff keeps come out and talking about how precious gold is, because I think he's a very important part of the bull market. It keeps crypto Twitter is much healthier when they can all target their their rage at Peter Schiff instead of targeting their rage at each other. So I think him sticking around and coming out all about gold is a good thing for a bull market. He has proven himself wrong time and time and time again, choosing gold as his primary reserve, or quote unquote store of value, as he likes to. So I'm curiously optimistic, I think, is the best way for me to put this. So I did write a short piece today on Twitter that Bitcoin's more than a store of value. It represents a freedom. A lot of regimes use financial power to punish and scare citizens in an effort to inflict their will. Examples would be when the truckers of Canada are out protesting, the government tried to freeze their accounts. Our government and other governments, the US government and other governments, are trying to inflict sanctions on Russia, and they're afraid Bitcoin's a way for them to surpass that. Bitcoin's also a way for people here to get people in Ukraine donations and money. So if they go through methods of trying to freeze that, they're hurting people. They may stop the regime in a small way, but at the end of the day, they're hurting thousands of people. And Bitcoin is decentralized, so it removes that power from them and gives that power to the people instead. And that's a threat to them. So you will continue to see, I think, in my opinion, people come out and speak against it that haven't done their research, that don't understand the technology, that wouldn't be able to have a coherent argument against anybody that's in the space. So Bitcoin's something, cryptocurrency is something I believe in strongly, and I have for years and years. Through the highs and the lows, I think it offers a solution to give power back to the people, which is desperately needed at times like this. So I'll be doing my part, continuing to make my videos, continuing to promote cryptocurrency, its use cases, the news that's coming out about it, keeping people informed. And I'm hopeful that our trend lines and support zones hold, and that we can continue our upward momentum till Bitcoin really settles. And I mentioned this yesterday. There's for sure coins that are starting to look interesting as if they've come close to a bottom. But that said, you really want Bitcoin to be in a controlled upward movement before you start higher risk assets like the altcoins. Bitcoin can have, a candle like this that moved 57 to 42, so $15,000 in a week's time. And that destroyed the altcoin market. What could be a 10% loss in a day for Bitcoin could be 16-17% loss in altcoins. And the opposite's true as well. So the increased gains for sure are available in the altcoin market, but they're also higher risk. Higher risk, higher reward. So I hear everyone from the government saying how speculative and risky crypto is, but they're also the first one to put their hands out when anyone does well trading in the space, that they want 30% of the profits. So if it's a high risk asset, let the people take the risk, get the reward. They're doing nothing and taking the reward. People take their hard-earned dollars that have already been taxed, use them to invest into projects they believe in, and if they do well, then they pay taxes again. It's crazy that we're here, but this is the life we're living. This is where we're at. So that's it for my rambling for today. I'll be watching the support structure really close, and I just wanted to give a quick heads up on Neo because I thought it was pretty interesting, the volume that it has already. So it's something I'll be watching for today for sure. So that's all I got. I hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday, a productive Thursday, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Till then, peace.